Alright, let's be honest. Did you have the Atlanta Hawks becoming a borderline top 10 team on your 2026 bingo card? Because I know I definitely did not. However, since the All-Star break, this team's been really good. Since that point, they've gone 16-3, they've climbed from the play-in to being a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they are playing extremely well on both ends of the floor. That's right, this team plays defense now. It's insane. The post-Trae Young Hawks are a completely different animal, and today we need to talk about why this team is suddenly so dangerous. Before I continue on to the rest of this video, if you've liked what you've seen so far, feel free to leave a like on this video, that'll help me. You can also subscribe and turn notifications on, that'll make sure that you're always notified whenever I publish a video so you never miss our content. Thank you, and let's get back to this video. Now, it is impossible to talk about the Atlanta Hawks without talking about their star player, Jalen Johnson, who is having an incredible breakout season. I will admit, I was a doubter of Jalen Johnson for a long time. I'm a Hawks fan myself, and the first couple of years of his career, I just didn't really like him as a player. I thought his offensive skill set was very raw, I didn't think he was that great on defense. I thought he had a lot to improve upon through about 3 years of his career, but now he has turned into a completely different player, and it's been great to see. His offensive skill set has improved so much that it's actually jarring. He's very comfortable handling the ball and initiating actions, and he's been very productive as a scorer this year. He's also had plenty of games where he has completely taken over as a scorer. But the most impressive thing about his breakout this year has been his development as a passer. He's legitimately one of the best playmaking forwards in the NBA, and this has turned him into a star on offense. Jalen was an all-star this year for good reason, and his development into a star offensive creator is not only a game changer for him, but it's a game changer for the team in general. I also want to give a huge shout out to Nickeil Alexander-Walker and CJ McCollum, who make up the Hawks backcourt. Those guys have been really good this year, and the addition of CJ McCollum has been far more impactful than I could have ever imagined. NAW is having an incredible season. He's in the conversation to win the Most Improved Player award. He's been great on both ends of the floor, and since the All-Star break, he's averaging about 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists per game on 51.2% shooting. His 3-point shooting, his defense have all been huge, very crucial for the Hawks' success, and he's been a great addition to the team this year. And I can say the same for CJ McCollum. He was a part of the Trae Young trade, and I didn't think he was going to be that important for the team post the trade deadline, but I could not have been more wrong. Since the All-Star break, he's averaging about 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists per game on a 45.6% shooting from the field, and these two guys together have combined to put together a really strong backcourt. And I don't think the Hawks would be nearly as good as they've been this year without these two guys leading the team. Now, I do have one thing I want to say about CJ McCollum, because he drives me crazy in late game situations, and it's because he has Kobe syndrome. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that he loves to take difficult shots off the dribble in clutch situations, even when Jalen Johnson is just standing in the corner, and it drives me nuts. But other than that, CJ McCollum has been a great addition to the team, and he's been amazing, been way better than I could have expected, but that one thing drives me nuts. I just wanted to mention that real quick, because it's really funny, in my opinion. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to Dyson Daniels, who is such a weird player, very unique. He's having kind of a weird year because he's averaging just 12 points per game, and he's shooting just 15.5% from 3 as a guard, which is terrible, and this should be a huge problem. This should keep him off the floor, honestly, but it doesn't, and it's because he's so good at all these different things. He can shoot at the rim, he's very good as a passer, he can move the ball around, and he's a very good defender. He isn't as game-changing on defense as he was a few years ago, but he's still a very good defender, and all of this allows him to be a very impactful player. He can play off the ball as a cutter, like I said earlier, he can pass, and his defense is great, and that allows him to play well off of, Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and CJ McCollum. And speaking of all 4 of these players, these guys joined together to create a devastatingly good lineup. With these guys on the floor, the team has a net rating of 26.9, meaning they're outscoring opponents by 26.9 points per 100 possessions, and that is incredible. Now, I will say, they've only played 288 minutes together, which is a small sample size, but still, when these guys are on the floor, they are dominant, and I want to see this lineup play together in the playoffs. Overall, the Atlanta Hawks have been very good on offense post-All-Star break, sporting an offensive rating of 118.6, which is really good, and their Morey ball philosophy, combined with having some competent shot creators, being great at shooting threes, and crashing the offensive glass, has the offense humming recently. They've also been fantastic on defense as of late, and I think this is the biggest reason why they've been winning so many games during the second half of the season. During this stretch, they have a defensive rating of 108.1, which is 3rd in the entire league, behind the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. And that's crazy because those teams are amazing on defense. The Hawks' success on defense post-All-Star break is driven by the fact that they are great at forcing turnovers, and they're really good at crashing the glass. During this stretch, they have a steal rate of 9.7%, and they have a defensive rebound rate of 72.6%, and both of these marks rank top 5 in the entire league. Unfortunately, this team isn't perfect, and although they've been playing well on defense recently, I think there are some big red flags when you take a closer look, dive deep into the numbers and look at how their defense has performed across the entire season. There are 2 big issues specifically with their defense, and that's their ability to defend in isolation and their ability to protect the rim. The Hawks have arguably the worst isolation defense in the NBA right now, as they allow 1.03 points per possession on these play types, which is the worst mark in the entire league, and they're also just really bad at preventing teams from shooting at the basket. 35.3% of their opponent's shots come at the rim. That's the 27th worst mark in the NBA, and they don't block a lot of shots, averaging just 4.5 blocks per 100 possessions, which ranks 20th in the NBA. If a team can't stop their opponents from scoring in isolation, and they also struggle at protecting the rim, that's a recipe for disaster in the playoffs. And this really worries me for the Hawks, because they are likely to face either the Knicks or the Cavaliers in the first round of the playoffs, and both of those teams have amazing on-ball creators, and they both have size at their center position. On top of having some issues on defense, I'm also a little bit worried by the Hawks' recent stretch of success, because if you look at their strength of schedule during that time, if you just look at the teams they're facing, it's not that impressive. I think that they may be just beating up on bad teams, and whenever they've gone up against really good offenses during the second half of the season, their defense has wavered a bit. And so that worries me a little bit. This may be just, a hot streak, a flash in the pan, and if that's the case, I think we could see the Hawks come down to earth a little bit during the postseason and play not as well as they've been playing recently. Still, it's impressive how well the Hawks have been playing recently. They traded their best player and somehow found a new identity that actually works. I don't know how long this lasts, but this is one of the most fun teams in basketball at the moment, and they've looked like a force to be reckoned with during the second half of the season. It's going to be fascinating to see how the Atlanta Hawks carry this momentum going into the playoffs.